Hey, what's up everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today doing the breakdown video for the Leigh Wood versus Michael Conlan WBA secondary world title fight that's taking place. That's featherweight world title fight at 126 pounds. It's taking place Saturday, March 12th on DAZN. This is a big fight for the UK. You got Leigh Wood, the defending champion out of the United Kingdom, taking on the undefeated Michael Conlan, the undefeated top contender. A lot of people, this is an exciting fight because the winner not only will be the secondary world champion, but he's supposed to be getting a mandatory title shot against super champion Leo Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz after his fight has been calling out Mark Magsayo, but I highly doubt the WBA, after ordering Santa Cruz back in December to agree to fight the winner of Wood and Conlan, I highly doubt they're going to allow a unification bout to pop off between Magsayo and Santa Cruz at this point. It should be, and I hope it's going to be, the winner of this fight battling Leo Santa Cruz next. So, there's a lot of incentive here for the winner. A big reward for the winner. And, how I do my breakdown videos is I talk about what these guys have done rolling into this fight. And then I get into, in this sense, I start with the champion and the challenger. Most of the time it's favorite or underdog, but a lot of time the champion is the favorite. Well, in this case, it's a little bit different. Leigh Wood is the not the favorite, at least as far as I can understand it. He's not the favorite rolling into the fight, but he is the champion. So I will discuss him first. But we get into what they've done rolling in. How can they win the fight? Can they win by knockout? Can they win by decision? What does it mean for them if they win or lose? And then I asked the question jointly, is it better for boxing if one guy wins or the other guy wins? And then finally, what my prediction is on the fight itself. So let's kick it off with the defending champion, Leigh Wood of the United Kingdom, and look at what he's done rolling. Let's start with what he's done rolling into this fight. Well, Leigh Wood is hungry. He really is. That is an understatement. I usually go back 3 years and take a look at what these guys have done. And Leigh Wood has fought 6 times since the beginning of 2019. So that's 3 calendar years. And he is 5-1 in that time frame, but 5-1 with 5 knockouts. The only loss was the second of his career to Jaza James Dickens, who, just fought for the world title against Kid Galahad last year. He got dominated in that fight. The fight that Leigh Wood lost to Dickens was a majority decision. So Leigh Wood, if anything, has fought pretty solid competition. And in his last fight, he really gave the best performance of his career when he took on Can Shu of China, who throws a million punches a fight. I mean, it was in the United Kingdom, but what impressed me was that he consistently defeated Can Shu to the punch the entire fight. Now, Can Shu hadn't fought in 20 months, but still, hey, you fight when you fight, and he dominated the action, and didn't let Can Shu take over the fight, and then well ahead on the scorecards. I mean, he was ahead by 5 points on 2 cards, and he was ahead by 3 on the other. So he was completely controlling the fight. He went out and still pursued the knockout in the 12th round and got it, stopping Can Shu, whatever you want to call him, from China, as he became the WBA regular world champion. It was his career best win, and this guy now is just rolling with confidence right now. And it's funny because I want to say he's 25-2. He's only got 12 knockouts. So what does that tell you? It's in the last 3 calendar years that he is 5-1. So he was 20-1 prior to this. And his other loss was to Gavin McDonnell, a guy who went on to become a world title challenger himself. So he's lost to, credible opponents. But in the last 3 years, he was literally 20-1 heading into 2019 with, I want to say, you take 5 knockouts off of that, he only had 7 knockouts. So now, in his last 6 fights, winning 5 of them, he's got 5 knockouts. So he's found a style that is, it works. He's knocking people out. He's somewhat of a brawler, and he's been entertaining, and now he's rolling into this fight against the undefeated Michael Conlan, and he's got the confidence and he's ready to roll. So this is going to be a good one. I'm really looking forward to seeing what I think is going to be an action-packed fight, and I think Leigh Wood is good to go. Now, what does Leigh Wood need to do to win this fight? Well, I mean, he really does not need... I don't think he needs to let this become a boxing match, because I think he's... Michael Conlan's a little bit taller, and he's got the reach advantage, and I think Conlan will use that. It's not by much, though. Michael Conlan, I want to say, is 2 inches taller, and he's got like a 1-inch reach advantage. So, but the thing is Michael Conlan can box, you know, and he wants to take Michael Conlan out of his comfort zone and make it a fight, you know, but he doesn't also want to go for broke, but at times he should go for broke, because Michael Conlan's 16-0 with only 8 knockouts. This guy's not a big power guy. So I think Leigh Wood needs to test Michael Conlan's mettle and test it early and see what he's made of, but also don't go for broke, because you never know when that mystery punch can land, and that could be all she wrote. But I think Leigh Wood needs to take some chances, show why he's the champion, and force Michael Conlan to come and take the world title from him, and not just stand back and try to box his way to a championship. Make Michael Conlan earn it, and I think Leigh Wood can have success that way. Now, can Leigh Wood win by knockout? Well, you know, I don't know in this fight, because Michael Conlan hasn't really been in there with a big power guy, to be honest with you. You know, his 2 biggest wins are in his last 2 fights against TJ Dahani, and prior to that, Ionu Baluta. Not a lot of knockouts there. Those are guys, you know, but they're good opponents, but not power punchers. So Leigh Wood, can he wear down Michael Conlan and stop him? I think that seems to be the more likelihood of a knockout result for Leigh Wood, but who knows? Maybe he can hurt Michael Conlan and put him down, but I think it's more likely that this fight's going to the scorecards. Now, can he win a decision? And to be honest, I think he can. I think Leigh Wood is coming into this one hungry. He's faced maybe a little bit better competition overall than Michael Conlan, but it's close. And I just think he's not so much the underdog that people are viewing him as, but he loves that role because, hey, look at what it did for him against Kanshu of China. And again, he's fighting in his backyard as he was against China. Now, Michael Conlan, this is essentially a hometown fight for him as well, as he's from Ireland, but they're not in Ireland. They're in England for this fight. So we're going to see, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good one, and I think Leigh Wood can win a decision. Now, what does this fight mean for Leigh Wood? Well, this is huge. He's already beaten Kanshu of China. If he can come and upset the apple cart and beat the undefeated Michael Conlan, who's a good undefeated prospect or contender now, he's not even a prospect anymore. If he can beat him and move forward towards Leo Santa Cruz, man, that's going to make him really, really, it's going to just boost his career so much to earn a fight with Leo Santa Cruz, who's still considered to be a big name, in the featherweight division. So it's going to be huge. I believe a win over Michael Conlan might be bigger than the win over Kanshu, because Kanshu, I think a lot of people are looking at that as an upset. He was in his backyard, and Shu hadn't fought in 20 months. Michael Conlan's rolling. He's coming off of his 2 best wins in 2021. He's rolling right now, So I think that a win over Michael Conlan would be big for Leigh Wood. It really would, push him towards, push him into a big fight with Leo Santa Cruz potentially, or if Santa Cruz passes, gives up the belt, he becomes the world champion like that, and then boom, they got to run through him, and he can call shots. So we're going to see. We're going to see what happens, and it also could, say, again, I'm just going to throw this option out there, but say Leo Santa Cruz does pass on this fight and goes after the WBC belt instead. That means the winner of Kiko Martinez and Josh Warrington, maybe, at some point, the sky is the limit in terms of options if Leigh Wood pulls the win. So a win is huge for him. Now, what does a loss mean for Leigh Wood? It depends on how he loses, but to be honest, I really don't know if I don't think Michael Conlan's going to knock him out. I think it's going to be a decision. I think Conlan, I think it's likely if Conlan wins, it's by a decision. And, You know, as long as he doesn't get shut out, I think he's still going to be a player in the game. It's just, you know, and he'll be a world champion, somebody to basically, you know, hey, he looks like a glorified gatekeeper. I'll fight him, you know, and he might become that. And you know what? That's not a bad role. So a loss, I don't think it's going to devastate him as long as he doesn't go out there and get knocked out like in 1 or 2 rounds. Then it won't devastate him, but we'll see. Okay, so Michael Conlan, the undefeated challenger now, heading into this fight. What has he done rolling in? Well, Michael Conlan's, his last 3 years, he is 6-0. He's only got a couple knockouts in that time frame. Michael Conlan is a very, he was a protected guy, but up until last year, he was a very protected fighter by Bob Arum in Top Rank. But then he moves down to 122, trying to become a mandatory challenger, and he takes on Ionut Baluta, a guy that not a lot of people wanted to fight. Baluta had upset TJ Doheny in 2020 by an 8-round decision, and then he took on David Oliver Joyce, who was an Irish prospect, and he laid his ass out. Baluta did in only 3 rounds. So Baluta was kind of under the radar, rolling at 122. And Michael Conlan decided, I'm going to fight this guy. And it was to become the WBO's #1 contender. And Michael Conlan got pushed, but he worked hard and he walked away with a close majority decision. But that was kind of his test to see if he was ready to step it up. Then he took on TJ Doheny, who was fully ready to go this time. Unlike Doheny's performance against Baluta, Doheny was not overlooking Michael Conlan. He knew what he had in front of him. And Michael Conlan went in there and just outboxed Doheny in a featherweight bout. They fought at like 124, 125 pounds. And he just went out there and outboxed them, outworked them, and scored a convincing unanimous decision impressively. And that's 2 good wins right there. 12-round fights, you know, against solid competition. That's really elevated Michael Conlan's game. So he's rolling his last couple fights. Not a big power guy, but you know what? You know, he's 16-0, 8 knockouts. He definitely has the talent. And again, I think he's hungry. This is essentially a first world title fight, you know, in a win, gets him Leo Santa Cruz. And I think Michael Conlan, this is the kind of stuff he wants. He wants to continue to build his resume 1 step at a time. Lee Wood's the next step, and then Leo Santa Cruz after that, and then boom, it hits the sky's the limit. If he can go out there and get the Santa Cruz fight and possibly win. So I think it's, you know, it's a very, very interesting and good matchup right here for Michael Conlan to take on Lee Wood, and I think he's definitely hungry. Now, can Michael Conlan win this fight by knockout? I don't know. I mean, Conlan's more of a boxer, and I don't think he packs a huge punch. But, you know, it's not to say he can't wear him down and possibly stop him. He's fighting at his more comfortable weight. Maybe he lets dogs out in this one and unleashes it. Well, we'll see. You know, I think it's possible, but I think he's more likely a decision if he pulls out the win. Now, can he win a decision? I think he can. I think between these 2 guys, he's the better boxer. I think he's going to try to use his little height and reach advantage to his advantage, and I think he's going to try to outbox Lee Wood. And, you know, that is the style he needs to have. You know, we'll roll straight into what kind of style does he need to have to beat Lee Wood, and I think he needs to try to box Lee Wood. We know Lee Wood's got a little bit of pop, and we know Lee Wood is a grinder. So, in my opinion, Michael Conlan needs to go in there and try to box and scrap it up at times, but he needs to use his speed and his height and his reach, that, you know, that little bit of an advantage to, you know, win those rounds and possibly pull off a decision victory. That's my opinion. So, you know, I said I believe he can win by knockout. I said I absolutely think he can win a decision. What does this fight mean for Michael Conlan? And it means everything to Michael Conlan. He needs a victory here over Lee Wood. You know, he's been very protected up until 2021, and he got those 2 wins, and now this is the next step. He needs to come out and beat Lee Wood and get that fight with Leo Santa Cruz. A loss is really going to hurt Michael Conlan, any kind of loss, because if he loses to Lee Wood is not considered to be a huge name. So if Conlan goes and loses to Lee Wood, people are going to be like, well, he was overrated the whole time. And if he, and also, he's not ready for the big names, and he's already in his 30s, so he's been brought along for a while now. So we got to make sure that he's legit. He needs to win this fight. It's huge for his career. A loss is going to devastate him. It really is. You know, if he loses to Lee Wood, as I said, the people are really going to be like, well, this guy is not on the level, because Lee Wood is not considered to be a huge threat right now at 126 pounds. Yeah, he's got a secondary world title, and a win over Michael Conlan makes him more of a threat. But right now, I think most people are looking at this fight as a fight that Conlan should win if he's on that next level. So he needs to win. Now, is it better for boxing if Lee Wood retains the title, or if Michael Conlan becomes a champion? And to be honest, I think it's better for boxing if Michael Conlan wins this fight. Michael Conlan is an undefeated, you know, rising contender right now, and he's entertaining to watch. He's got a little bit of a following, and if he can pull off the win and become the secondary world champ, that guarantees him a showdown with Leo Santa Cruz, which I think would be a big money fight right there. You know, we already saw Santa Cruz fight Carl Frampton back-to-back fights, and those were barn burners right there. They were great fights. So I really think we could see a similar thing, you know, with Michael Conlan here. That, you know, and I just think it's a bigger potential fight. I think more people are going to be interested if Michael Conlan wins over Lee Wood, but not to say they wouldn't be for Lee Wood. It's just, you know, Michael Conlan, to me, it'd make more sense for boxing, you know, to see Michael Conlan guarantee himself a title shot. We'll see, though. Wouldn't be bad, though, if Lee Wood pulled it off. Lee Wood is very solid. I got to give him that. And now my prediction on the fight. Who's going to win this secondary world title fight taking place Saturday, March 12th on DAZN? And I'm going with Michael Conlan. I think it's going to be a good scrap. I think these guys are going to go at it. I think Michael Conlan, though, is the better boxer, and I think he's going to prove that. He's going to come out and box, and I think he walks away with a hard-fought but deserving unanimous decision, as he will become the secondary world champion and punch his ticket to Leo Santa Cruz in the second half of the year. But I am not overlooking, and Michael Conlan shouldn't, do not overlook Lee Wood. I think Lee Wood is ready to go. I think he's hungry, and I think he's going to push Michael Conlan, and he really wants this fight. So I think, you know, again, Michael Conlan does not need to overlook him. He needs to take him very serious. And if he does, I think he's going to pull it off. But Lee Wood, to me, is a live underdog, so we'll see what happens. But all right, guys, that's it. That's what I got. That's the breakdown video for Lee Wood versus Michael Conlan for the WBA regular Featherweight Championship, with a showdown, a mandatory showdown with Leo Santa Cruz waiting in the wings. I hope you guys enjoyed this. True Boxing, you've been here with the truth.